It's a full moon day. Oh, welcome to spaceship number. Hello there, and welcome. We are going to discuss this a little bit. This moments of push of this positive releasing of all toxicities to bring in the light. Yeah, that is good. And it's also bad because there is a pendulum and there's a polarity and there is left and right, there's an in and out, there is an opposite to everything. So when we push one way extremely, it's going to swing low. Sweet chariot, come and full to carry me to the opposite side of what you want. So when we push for this positive thing that we want, that release, let go of all that does not serve you, you're also not recognizing that we're not always going to serve each other. We're not always going to serve each other. There's going to be moments where you are a burden to people and they're going to be a burden to you, and that's part of friendship, and we're destroying that. Like, we are legitimately validating narcissistic behavior by doing this. That's the other end. That's the extreme. Because instead of releasing what no longer serves you, as far as like your pain inside, we are validating, blaming other people for the hurt inside of us to be that pain so we can discard them for making us feel that pain instead of sitting in our pain and figuring out where it came from and being able to openly and vulnerably talk about it. So we're validating divide, we're validating DARVO, deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender, because if it's easy now to validate discarding what you don't want to take accountability for. It's very, very, very interesting out there right now in the world. I can't even wrap my head around the things that I'm seeing. We're discarding people who need help, like majorly, and because they're inconvenient. You're not always going to be a bright, old sunshine of convenience, love for other people. You're going to need help. And if you think that you're going to be independent for your entire life, you are so wrong. There is nothing that's called independence in humanity. If you're not dependent on your community, you're dependent on a system that is not stable. It's not stable. It's not stable. It's going to fail, and it's not going to support you. And when that doesn't work out, and there's no more identity to your material and monetary world, who's going to be standing by you? The people who are okay with you being a little bit annoying or a little bit of a burden, because you're going to be there for them when they're a little bit of a burden, because that's how it works. It's not about pushing to one side. It's about the balance. There is the darkness. We are birthed out of darkness. Creativity is birthed out of darkness. Yin and yang. Like, there is a balance to it. And when you shove to one side, it's going to go as far to the other side as it can. And then it gives you that seasick feeling when it's swinging. And that's what we're all feeling. We're feeling that seasick feeling, and then we're tearing apart and dividing instead of coming together. Like, we're not always going to be full love, but we learn to love ourselves by accepting our fears, by accepting that we're not going to be the very perfect being that we were sold to be. We accept that you could see yourself in other people, and you'll start harmonizing, and you'll start being authentically you. You'll start loving yourself. It's not about loving what you've become or what you've done. You love by accepting your fears and your insecurities. Self-love is accepting your insecurities. Self-love is being able to talk openly about your insecurities. Self-love is understanding that we all have this. And that's what love is created from. It's not about how positive you are and how happy you are and how good you make people feel, because there's always an opposite side to that. And when we hide that, we suppress it, and then it comes out as either disease within our bodies or projections, and then we harm each other and we alienate each other. Now we're discarding each other, and now people are very, very, very not mentally well. So this whole letting go thing, I'm not saying anything to hold on to an abusive person who can't hear you, but to be heard, you do need to hear people, and you can't say, I hear you, and then just step over them and start talking at them. You need to process it. You need to take a couple steps back. You need to learn like actual methods to doing this. And if you don't get to decide if they felt heard, ask them. Like, if you want to better your life, you better yourself, and not by going and ditching everybody for better people. You try to find solutions. It's not about letting go of your friends and family. It's about letting go of the things inside that created the internal war that you project onto them. You don't leave people behind who are inconveniencing you, who need help. It takes a village. You are not independent. You're a human being, and we are on this earth, from this earth. You can argue with me, I don't care. We are in sync with a planet that we've created a very disharmonic imbalance with, and that is what is trying to recorrect itself. And there is things on that side of the world that's trying to divide us, because it's controlling us through using our insecurities as a way to profit. Money is an addiction, and the world is addicted to it, and the people who have the most money need more for a reason, and that reason gets deflected down onto us. So that's where all this conditioning comes from. So as we learn that we only know what we learned, we'll start to see ourselves in each other, and that's how we rebuild this. I love you. I care. Please help people who need help by listening to how they need help, not because you decided how you think that they need help. Hear them. Be curious. Release, as the full moon, release your grudges and your anger towards people in a way that's not competing, because that's the divide. That's how we fall. That's the end of humanity, is that the end of our friends. That's where all the mental health issues come from. I love you. Take care of the earth. Thank you. High five for sticking with this, through this with me.